once again, everybody, and welcome to the Manny Diaz Show. Joe Zagacki alongside University of Miami head coach Manny Diaz and my broadcast partner, Don Bailey Jr., as we reflect back on a great Hurricanes win over North Carolina State and look ahead to Virginia Tech. And first, Coach, boy, you talk about a hard-nosed, gritty performance. Another one turned in by the Hurricanes against North Carolina State.
Yeah, showed a lot of heart, a lot of determination. Had to persevere through a lot of adversity, because NC State played really well, as we suspected that they would, and you reach that point in the game where it's easy for that doubt to creep in. Maybe it's not our night, and our guys they just absolutely took over the fourth quarter and found a way to win.
Coach, I don't think anybody realized, unless you were standing on the sideline, how physical a contest that was. Both sides were going at it like a 15-round heavyweight fight for the entire 60 minutes.
Yeah, which look, you go on the road in conference. You're a weeknight game. You're on national TV. They're wearing their all black uniforms. It's everything set up exactly for a big time event, and you're going to get a big time performance from NC State, and they played really well early on, and I thought they made some plays against our defense that sort of unnerved us, and it took us a little bit out of our game. I thought we started pressing and started making really simple mistakes, and so then we compounded. They were playing well, and then we started helping them with penalties, and it really took us to just calm down and just be us, and let us be enough, and ultimately that's what ended up happening.
We could probably spend this entire show on De'Ara King, and we will get to him in a moment. He was ACC Player of the Week. He's number one in the conference, by the way, in total yards now per game, over 300. But I would like to present this subject to you. It's a close, hard-fought game, like you mentioned, Friday night. It's a Black Friday, and teams that go from good to great win those games. And I could pick any one of our University of Miami teams in the past that have had to go through that. And it's easy for us to say that. But how about the players? Is that something that you have to teach them? Hey, guys, it's okay to be in a game like this. It's not a work of art. Not every game's a work of art. But to grind one out like this is something special.
It is. And there are the games when you look back after a season that good teams lose this game and great teams find a way to win it. And look, 2 weeks ago against Virginia, we had to grind out 19-14 because we had a hard time scoring in the red zone against their defense. And this past game, we had a harder time stopping him, so the offense had to pick up the defense. I enjoy the team ball. Of course, I would enjoy it being a more decisive win, but it's great to see that we can win a game in a lot of different ways, and the players take confidence from that.
Manny, two things, two-part question. How do you handle the penalty issue this week? An exorbitant amount of penalties against North Carolina State, and then also the importance of dominating that fourth quarter, which we have seen your team do a few times this year.
Yeah, so we've already paid the pill. We obviously have some discipline, some physical discipline we do for the penalties. We analyze the penalties, and it's crazy. They actually, once we calmed down at halftime, the penalties really went away in the second half. I think we only had 3 after halftime. It was crazy in the first half, and that's when really we were just sort of off our rocker and not functioning. So we actually kind of corrected that during the game and adjusted the way the game was being called also. That had a factor in it as well. So we gave ourselves a chance because we calmed that down. And I think our players have seen that when we limit our penalties, we're a much better football team. To the fourth quarter point, we've now seen it 3 weeks in a row. Our tempo wears people down. And our guys were ready to play another quarter. We could have played a fifth quarter, and I think if we did, we would have won by 20. They looked like they had it. And that's a testament to Coach Feely, the way we practice every day with our offensive system and the type of shape our players are in.
I don't know, Coach, if you could give your team any more examples of how confident you are in them through the decisions you've made. You go for it on fourth down in the first quarter, deep in your own territory. You follow that up with an onside surprise kick that your team gets. You kick a field goal, do the math. I thought it was a brilliant call. Kick the field goal, but you tell the defense, hey, you get us a stop, we win the game at the finish line. And so those, to me, are all inspiring and also confident decisions, imposing confidence into your team.
Well, thank you, Joe. And it helps when you have a team that rewards your confidence in them. The field goal decision was interesting. We obviously we had 4th and 1, and we felt like we had scored. And so, well, actually, let's go back. We have a third down where they're grabbing Larry Hodges, and there's not a penalty called. So it really should be first and goal Miami, where now your odds are through the roof that you're going to score a touchdown. They don't call the penalty. Derek makes a heroic effort to get close to the goal line. It's rather obvious that he's not in. So we go fast and we walk in the end zone. Have that taken away, through the review. Okay, we're resilient. Let's go find a way to do it again. We line up again. We score again. There is a very hard to find flinch, by our offensive line. And really, by the numbers, which we pay a lot of attention to, we should have gone for it on 4th down and 5 as opposed to kick the field goal. But I just felt like there were 3 really sort of negative things in a row that happened to Miami at that point, where your mojo is not, even though you want to go, but you just, boy, it's like 3 kind of kicks in the gut. Let's go make something good happen. Let's go get a field goal. We had stopped the run on defense, and stopping the run was really the whole key. And there was like 6 minutes left, which with our offense, to me, that's 2 possessions. And if you tell me that we've got Derek King in our offense and need to find 4 points against NC State, I don't see that as a risk at all. So, you got Borregales, who does a great job at knocking it through, and defense comes up with a stop, and then, we never look back from there. And to be honest, we could have scored more if we wanted to.
Coach Mike Harley, back-to-back games. First time we've seen a Miami receiver do that in many, many years, where they put up those kind of numbers. 18 catches the last 2 games, over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. But the entire receiving core, and throw in your tight end as well, the best game that they've had as a unit, and we'll have to ask Joe when, because it's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch our confidence grow in our passing game. Remember, just 2 weeks ago, we were bemoaning that we can't throw the ball deep, and we throw it pretty good deep now. And the guys are getting confidence. I think some of those plays we made in the Virginia game, now it's like, okay, we can breathe a little bit. We're like relaxing a little bit more. We're trusting ourselves. We can make those plays down the field and making plays for Derek. And Derek is throwing great balls. We're getting great protection on those plays. And we're going to, we said it all during the summertime, we're going to throw the ball deep. And that's something at Miami we should feel like we should always be able to do with our speed on the outside. But you got to know how to run a route. You don't just run fast to go deep. You got to learn how to beat a guy off the line. You got to learn how to stack him. You got to learn how to fade to the ball, when the quarterback puts it on the money. So our guys are getting more confident doing that, and it sure helps to be explosive in the passing game.
Somebody asked me about De'Ara King's performance the other night, and of course it was magical. But I just thought right from the get-go he was decisive in everything he was going to do.
He really was. And look, Derek is getting more comfortable in our scheme, and week in, week out. And I think that's the great thing we do, is because we're simple and we get to execute many of the same passing plays every week. And you just can't help but get more confidence in it. And I think his confidence in the receivers now, that they're making those catches, having a guy like Mallory over the middle, gosh, can't wait to get Brevin Jordan back. So I think all that is having a say. And again, I thought the offensive line did a nice job protecting him. NC State would bring a lot of pressure, then they drop a lot of guys, only rush 3 and everything in between. And no matter what they did, it seemed like we had an answer.
Let's go back and hit on your defense in the 4th quarter. I think they held them to North Carolina State to 9 yards rushing, and completely dominated. And then, of course, Derek King being able to lead Miami down in less than a minute and a half on the winning drive. Just the balance between those 2 stats and those 2 parts of that quarter.
Yeah, great team ball. Defense went out there, got a stop. Offense went down there, was able to score. Defense got out there, got a stop. The offense went down there. That's when we had the field goal drive. And then again we had another stop, and then we're able to run the clock out. So great team ball. But it really came down to, you mentioned it before, Don. The perceived pressure of winning every week is a learned habit. You have to learn how to deal with, finding a way that no matter what the circumstances, we're Miami, we need to go find a way to win this game. And I felt like our players just put a lot of external pressure on themselves midway through that game. We were making the game much harder than it was. And that's not to discredit NC State. I just mean we were hurting ourselves by going a little crazy. It wasn't a lack of effort. We were playing extraordinarily hard, but almost like a car driving in a red line, where we were starting to swerve off the road a little bit. And what I saw from our leadership in the 4th quarter was we just relaxed. We went out there and we just played. And we talked confidently. We talked about good things that were about to happen instead of worrying about what had happened. And it just felt like a much more confident approach to the 4th quarter, and look at what the results were.
Derek King, as I mentioned, ACC Player of the Week. He's leading the conference in total offense over 300 yards per game. His impact on the program, Coach, maybe we can discuss that a little bit. I find it a neat symbolism that he wears the number 1, because I think the 1 represents one team.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right, because no matter all of the great things that he does during the course of the game, he is as humble of a player as we have. Guys got every reason to showboat and to say I'm the man and do all this and that, and he's not about that, and he just goes about and performs. Whether you can't tell his demeanor, whether we're winning, we're losing, he's playing great, struggling, anything in between. So I think that makes everybody fall in line, because his talent is without question, but who he is, I've said over and over again, I think has been so key to our team, and having someone that they can all rally behind, and then some great leaders behind him that really fall in line as well.
And I see things that happen with De'Aaron that a lot of people may not notice. First of all, one thing is on the sideline, when he and Coach Lashley talk, he stares at him right in the eyes. He's not looking around. He's not fixing his wristband. They have direct communication with each other every single time. And then in that ball game, that last drive, he could have made a special day for himself in trying to work for that end zone. He took a dive, did the team thing, ate up the clock, and that just shows you that his wisdom, but how much he cares and how much he wants to be coached.
Yeah, we told him on that. It was actually a question, because I think we were coming out of a timeout, and we feel like Red had a good play call, and we had a feeling we might score, and the question came, do we want to score? And the way that crazy game had gone, who knows what would have happened. But we knew that if we call it church, actually. You get the first down and you basically take a knee. And we knew that if we did that, where the clock was, where their timeouts were, we could take a knee and end the game. And it had been such a wild night, we wanted to ensure victory. So we kind of robbed Derek of a touchdown, kind of robbed the offense of 50 points, but they'll get over. But you're right. I mean, Derek, he can relay to you anything that's going on in the field. He sees it all very well. And we knew that the very first time he came on his recruiting visit, and you sat down and talked to the guy, that he's a football junkie, lives, breathes it, is fully aware of what's going on around the country, watches ball any chance he gets, and he loves it, and they've got a great relationship for sure.
I did want to mention this before we go to the break, so we get this in our first segment. The defense had some big stops down the stretch, including, I thought, one of the great calls, the blitz with Corey Couch, who makes a great move around the running back to get to the quarterback.
Yeah, he really did. And it was back-to-back third downs. We brought to Corey on both third downs, and on the first one, the quarterback scrambled out and almost threw a pick to DJ Ivey, and the second one, to Corey, like you said, made a great move and got the quarterback on the ground. But all that was a side product of doing a great job on first and second down, stopping the run, and putting him in third down and long. I thought Blake Baker called a great blitz both those times, and actually great blitz the first time. And sometimes you can overthink it the second time and say, hey, listen, if they're struggling to stop it and a guy's hot like Corey was, let's bring it again. And lo and behold, it ended up paying dividends.
Coach, also when you look at that ball game, Ivy, he sealed the deal. We go 59 minutes or 58 minutes, and we're not able to get a takeaway on either side. Either team's able to come up with a takeaway, and it's nice to see him come up with that as well.
It was a big play when it needed to be made, and there's a lot of guys that did a good job on that play. It was a play that they had shown a drive or two before, and we matched it up quick, and I thought the quarterback was a little hurried. And that's why we felt like, look, they made some really good plays in the passing game early on in the game. We felt like if we finally could get the running game managed and slowed down, which we did a better job in the second half, that the quarterback would struggle to him alone have to beat us. And in turn, that's exactly what happened.
The Hurricanes will take on the Hokies of Virginia Tech on Saturday at Lane Stadium. When we come back on the Manny Diaz Show, we'll have our breakdown segment for you coming up next.
Now time for the breakdown segment with head coach Manny Diaz. And Coach, I know you got some good stuff for us today.
Yeah, we're going to go to the fourth quarter, game-winning time, and talk about some of the great performances we had that enabled us to get the win on the road. And we're going to start off here, first play of the drive, and here we were down by 10. We've cut the lead to 7, and you got to go get a stop. And I thought the key to the second half, but for sure the fourth quarter, was the way that we were able to play the run on the inside. And again, that's always going to start with our defensive line here at the University of Miami. So they've got us in a spread-out set. We always talk about, you've heard me say before, you watch that line of scrimmage, and are we getting our feet across the line of scrimmage? Well, look at all 4 defensive linemen reestablish the line of scrimmage. And watch Jade Silvera. This is Jade Silvera right here at nose guard. And watch Jade knock his man 5 yards deep into the backfield, which is really, really outstanding. He's able to finish, and this is what he does well. He's able to find a way to finish, get the guy on the ground, start them with a negative play, which we talk about this PN10, first play of a drive, and really gives us a chance to get them behind the chains and get the ball back to our offense.
Manny, the importance of this, too, is it just disrupts the entire flow of that play for the offense, and he does such a good job with his pad level. It makes it very difficult. And that center's a pretty darn good football player to make that block, but for him to wipe him right across his face is a good move by Jade.
Well, it does, and what it makes him decide is if they're not going to double, if they're not going to start in a double, if the guard's going to leave right now to try to help out on Quincy or to try to help out on Jennings, then it's really, really difficult, and if he's got to do it all by himself, that's just a tough play, and it's a great finish by Silvera to get the guy on the ground. So there's a stop. So now we get the field goal on the weird circumstances down on the goal line where we really had a touchdown, and settle for 3. But we felt like because we were stopping the run with 5.5 minutes, this was plenty of time for our defense to go out there and get a stop. And look, it's the exact same matchup. Silvera versus a center, boom, and does a great job again. So first thing we always check is, are we creating knockback across the line of scrimmage? We are. And then once we do that, his ability to come off and finish and make a play, and again, you can watch here from the end zone, is going to put them in a 3rd down and long situation. Again, just great quickness. Now the center, because he got beat last time, goes too far, and Jade actually slips that block, is able to come inside, and that's what makes the way we play our defensive tackles, by just hitting vertical, creating knockback, being an attack-minded front. That's what makes it so difficult on these guys to block us.
And you talk about when you're talking to your defense line and coaching your defense line, a lot of this is feel. Yes, they got to take this step and take the right angle, but he feels what's going on by the push that he's getting in that direction.
Well, that's exactly right. And again, because we play an attacking front where we're just trying to work vertically up the field, okay, is that once he takes a step, we're doing a quick slant step. Once he does that, we want these guys to go forward, and we're going to trust our linebackers in our pursuit, okay, to be able to fit in. You see Frierson right here is able to fit in accordingly. So that's kind of how the big part in terms of how we play. I mean, even watch right here, see how both these offensive linemen overset Quincy Roche, is we don't have to run sideways with the blocks. We get vertical and attack the run game in that way. And that sets up this, because now on the next play, 3rd down and 9. And again, 5 minutes left in the game is, with our offense, is an eternity. And we had blitzed to Corey Couch the 3rd down before, and he did a great job of forcing a pressure. And a great call here by Blake Baker. He's going to do the exact same thing again. So Corey's lined up like he's covering these guys out here on a bunch. Okay, but then right when the quarterback points, he's going to walk in. He's going to walk in. He's going to get blocked by the running back, which is what we knew would happen. But watch this great move he makes on the running back right here. Makes the running back come all the way over to get him, and Corey's going to stop and come underneath him like that right there. Very, very difficult. Quarterback has nowhere to step up, which, by the way, he wants to, because Quincy Roche over here in the boundary has a great pass rush on this tackle, and that's a big-time player, number 79. But Quincy makes a big-time play. Corey gets the first hit. Quincy the second hit. Got guys like Jalen Phillips, Sam Brooks all getting in on the quarterback, so a huge stop, and you can see the coverage down the field. Really nothing open right there. They got 3 guys basically running to the sticks, and we've got good coverage on all those guys, so nowhere really for the quarterback to go with the ball. Big-time stop in the game.
Talk about the development of Couch, Coach. He's 5. He's not the biggest corner, let's say, on the football team, but he has made some big time plays, and he certainly is physical. And you watch how he plays this and makes the move, shows that he's an athlete as well.
That's right. Well, we tell our blitzers that we got to tackle all the time. We say when we're blitzing, pretend he's the tackler and you're the guy with the football. So what you want to do is you want to make a guy miss. So put that in your mindset. Put the ball into Corey's arms and say that number 7 is coming over here to tackle him. There it is. That's a great move on that guy, and that's called being hard to block. And some guys have a great instinct for that. To Corey, he's got that dog in him. We knew that in high school football. He's just a highly, highly competitive kid, and those athletes are almost always successful when they come to Miami because they bring that same level of competition to Green Tree Practice Field. So now we get them to punt. Okay, so this is now the next drive, but on the first play of the drive, we have a negative play. We take a sack or an intentional grounding. So here we are, 2nd and 18 backed up, our own 8-yard line. And Don, we've talked about this earlier in the year that we are not afraid to throw the ball deep, backed up in our end zone. So great call here by Coach Lashley. Some great offensive line blocking against a 3-man rush with the stunt, and some great execution down here in the passing game. And guess who it is? It's that man, Mike Harley. So they're basically in what amounts to a Tampa 2 defense. This is sort of their middle Tampa 2 dropper. They got a half-field player, and then 5 underneath defenders right here like this. And Derek right now, we got Will Mallory running through the middle field. He gets jumped into the linebacker, and then Mike Harley is going to break a post. So you're trying to get 2 guys on this one guy right here. And all it takes, now look, what's crazy is Mallory gets jammed up right here. So he's not really able to influence that dropper the way that he should. So now you want to talk about a great ball and a great catch. Okay, so watch. This guy right here locks his hips out. And watch Derek, be able to stick this ball. The 2 safeties are out of the play. They're way too wide because right here doubling our outside wideouts. So it's all about this matchup right here. And his ability to put the ball over that middle safety. Oh, man, what a huge play.
Coach, talk about the timing of this route and how important it is and what goes on at practice where Derek can almost throw this blind. I mean, if the timing's correct.
That's right, yeah. All he's watching right now is he's watching that guy. And once that guy locks his hips out right there, and see how he's got that right foot forward, see how now he's got to flip his hips all the way around, and that wasted movement right there makes all the difference to get the guy down the middle field. But it starts off with recognizing the coverage. You know that they're in a Tampa setting, so now you got 2 ways to try to high-low that guy. And even though we get jarred up right here, which we don't want to, he was still able to make a great play. And then if that's not there, then guess what he's going to do, by the way? He's going to be able to run. And that's where Derek creates such a threat to a defense. So big-time play right there. That gets us going. But guess what happens? We still get to a 3rd down and 7. And here we are. This is the game-winning play. 2:52 left, making a lot of noise right there. So what did NC State do on that last long yards play? They dropped everybody, right? Yeah. Well, now you can see here they don't have any safeties deep now. Okay? They're trying to disguise it, but it's not hard to tell. These 2 guys were coming, those 2 guys were coming, and the 3 defensive linemen are coming. So they are bringing 7 guys, which means they only have 4 left in coverage. This is what we call cover 0 because there's nobody deep in the middle of the field. So it is man, 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 and this is it. This is all we got. And so we're going to run a play that everybody in America runs. This guy's running a slant. And when you play cover 0, that guy's got one job. Don't let that guy catch a slant because you know you've got no help on the inside of the field. And sometimes, what I say, it's fun to talk about call and scheme, but it really just comes down to execution and a quarterback and a receiver being on the same page. And Mike Harley runs a great route, starts right at the guy. So the guy's not exactly sure what he's going to run. Then Mike sticks a foot in the ground, breaks inside, breaks flat enough where the guy's got a tough play. And you can see Pope's got the same thing in here. And Pope's broken inside his guy. And then the great thing right here, Mike Harley, this is our weight room right here. Doesn't just make the catch, but that strength to run through that tackle. Bang, runs through that tackle, and it turns into a touchdown, humongous play for the Hurricanes. And we got some offensive linemen that are doing the right thing here too, right? Come out with a full blitz. They got 1 extra guy that we can't block. That guy belongs to Derek. So Derek, look at this. Look at this. He's got a guy coming right at him, heat in his face. He's able to put it on Mike. Look where the ball hits Mike right in the gut. Secures the catch. Get your knee drive up right there. That's so many guys right there would fall down, but watch him think. He's thinking right now. Dave Feely told me, pick my knees up. Picks his knees up, runs through the tackle. And I'm telling you, he finishes every play in practice like this. This is Mike Harley right now. He could be getting chased by the GA coaches we had playing in the secondary. That's how he's going to play. And what a great finish to the game.
All right, some great plays for us, Coach. We appreciate it. That does it for the breakdown segment with head coach Manny Diaz.
A great win against North Carolina State. Coach, thank you very much. For Don Bailey Jr., I'm Joe Zagacki. We'll see you next time right here on the Manny Diaz Show.